Welcome back, Officers of the Republic, is your Coruscant Underworld Police Chief, AP Gaines. And yes, I am in the dark. We have some serious budget cuts. I can't afford lights. If I talk quietly, I'm sorry. I'm actually in a mandatory Coruscant Underworld Police training session, aka I'm in the middle of a Zoom lecture. But, you know, the grind doesn't stop. I'm joined by Ian, looking absolutely jacked as always, massive. He doesn't do legs, unfortunately, just biceps and chest.
No
But
legs. No time for legs.
no time for legs whatsoever. But we are going to talk about, apparently I didn't link my BlueStack, so we're not going to show the screen, but we're going to talk about Galactic Legends Jedi Master Kenobi. As you guys can tell, I'm very prepared for this event. We're going to talk about potential kits. They have leaked a couple of spoilers involving famous quotes. I don't know if you guys know any famous General Kenobi quotes from Revenge of the Sith. I know a couple of them. Famous quotes that could be the names and style of his kit. And if you guys remember my April 1st video, I predicted Hello There as a unique. I still think it's coming. Ian, over under on Hello There being an ability in the kit.
I'm Googling quotes from from Obi-Wan right now.
This man's just gonna start naming quotes.
So uncivilized.
So uncivilized.
That's gotta be something. A
After
unique. There it is. A unique right there. That's gotta be a unique.
Maybe it's not a unique. Maybe it's a special ability where he drops his lightsaber and pulls out the little B1 blaster and shoots Grievous.
Oh, if he pistol whips somebody, dude, I'm be so happy.
Good old fashioned Utapau pistol whip.
I would love if he pistol whipped somebody, man. You just like the Han Solo, the animation with like Han when he like does his what is it, his like basic or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, dude. Like he just like whips it out, or like I don't even know, man. That would be so cool, actually. I would love that.
I think it's coming. Place your bets in the comments right now. Hello There and pistol whipping So Uncivilized as abilities. Let me know if you think those are gonna happen. So we have different styles of Galactic Legends, obviously. We have more offensive styled Galactic Legends, SLKR, C even. We have more defensive style. Oftentimes, Rey is the go-to in terms of defensive Galactic Legends. And JML, very useful on defense if you want to trip up your opponent a couple of times if they don't have a proper counter. Do you think, and I'm going to go on a limb and say I agree that this will happen, do you think Kenobi is going to be more of a defensive, useful character, like he's going to be a Rey type, or do you think he's going to be more of an SLKR, throw in some attackers and get some big damage with him?
All right, so the one we have right now, I think actually both Kenobis are tanks, and I remember playing a lot of Battlefront 2, and that Kenobi was not very hard hitting. He was very defensive. So I'm gonna go out on a limb that he will be more of a tank, not a support. I think he'll be a tank and just absorbing a lot of damage, being just super durable, but also like, I don't know, like to a certain extent, making him like a Master Luke. But hopefully, what I'm hoping at least is that he can do some more damage than the Master Luke, having some more assisting and whatnot, some cleansing. I mean, that'd be awesome to have a cleanse, like a GL cleanse, like some fat cleanse. I would love that for Jedi, for anybody, honestly. So I think, no attacking. He can't attack, right? But I think personally he'll be more defensive oriented and just be a beefy boy, being Mr. Obi-Wan himself. That's what I'm thinking, at least.
I kind of agree with that. If any of you guys remember my April Fool's video, which was definitely not an April Fool's video, it just happened to come out on April 1st. I talked a lot about how I believe we're going to get reworks in terms of Galactic Republic Jedi. I think he's going to be very counterattack oriented. I think you're either going to place him on defense and get a bunch of counterattacks, which will deter certain teams. Obviously, certain teams do lots of AoEs, for instance, or attack out of turn, for instance. I feel I'm really, really confident that there's going to be lots of counterattack synergy with him, but I think we could even get a locked counterattack. We have locked taunts, we have locked other abilities. I think we could get a locked counterattack.
That'd be so cool.
So that if there's attacks out of turn, for instance, or there's AoEs, because, Galactic Legends love to AoE, he'll have some sort of repercussion for those. So you may want to go in with an SLKR AoE or a Rey AoE. If you're not going to kill everyone, you better be careful because he could be coming back at you. How do you feel about that in terms of a new mechanic, a locked counterattack?
I think there's two things that we should be getting. So right now, the GK that we have right now, the General Kenobi, he has both of those. He has a cleanse for one, and he has that retribution. Wait, does he even give? Oh, wait. Oh, no, he does. Okay, yeah. So I'm thinking. He has on the negotiator special that he does on a GK, he has both a cleanse and he has the retribution. So I think that whether it's both or if it's just one of those, I think I would rather have a retribution in the counterattacks, a locked counterattack that you maybe it's like there from the get-go, maybe you get it on some big ability that he uses or whatever. I mean, just having that and being having to worry about hitting somebody that you don't want to be hitting, that's super scary actually because on some of these different Jedi, they have foresight, they have different things on their basic that they apply on like a Grandmaster Yoda, he gives out more TM to himself, he gives out foresight. If you hit like a Hermit Yoda, he gives out more TM. Like a lot of scary stuff on these basics for the Jedi. So I think that would be actually deadly. Not even thinking about the attackers for the Jedi, you would be receiving a lot of damage, and that would just be super scary to have to fight a lot of the times because that's just so much going at you all the time. And especially, talking about the GLs and anybody in general who does AoEs, that would just, I wouldn't say a hard counter, but that would be a pretty dang good counter to those teams, especially the Kylos. And yeah, I think that'd be awesome. Retribution, some counterattacks. That's awesome. I would love that so much.
And as most Star Wars fans know, General Kenobi Sorosu big on the counter attack. Obviously, we've talked a lot about the ability of counterattacking with retribution, but if you look at his fighting style in general, not only in the cartoons, the movies, in other forms of canon, well, I guess Disney made them not canon. He's very much about letting you come to him defensive and then going in when the opportunity is right. Talked with Darth Locator about this. He's very upset with a lot of Jedi fighting scenes because, if someone attacks you with a lightsaber and you block it, it's very, very easy to turn it from a high guard in on them and kill them. I think Galactic Legends Kenobi is going to be very much allowing the opponent to defeat themselves. So if you don't come in with a properly not geared up, but synergized team, it's basically a free defensive win. Or if you go in on offense against, I don't know, maybe you bring in him by himself with a couple other characters so you can undersize a GG team or, a Ray team on defense that likes to throw up a lot of AoEs. The bros
Yeah.
love to throw up their bombs and stuff like that. I think he's going to
Yeah.
be able to be used both offensively and defensively against teams that maybe, do too much damage to everyone, too many AoEs, too many attacks out of turn. I think that's definitely going to be part of his kit. How do you feel? What do you feel? Okay, let's just take characters that have already been announced or are in the game. Do you think he's going to be used with lots of offensive characters, like maybe they get a rework for Mace Windu and you throw gas in there and you throw in, I don't know, someone else who does lots of high damage? Or do you think he's going to be more of a JML where you want some tanks, take a little bit of time out. He's kind of hard to beat, does some good damage once he gets his ultimate. How do you feel like they're going to be using this character in terms of team composition, attack, tank, support? What do you think?
Yeah. So right now with the Luke that we have, the Master Luke, he kind of for damage at least, he has that true damage with his leadership, right? And in leadership, he has that taunt. So you have kind of best of both worlds for that guy, and I think we're going to receive something to that extent with this new Kenobi. I think we're not going to have him. Maybe he can taunt, but it's going to be more of like a pseudo taunt that he gets, on and off throughout the course of the battle. But I do think that this whole, while he's in leadership, for like whatever the lead's going to be, I think there will be some very just beefiness to this whole team, like some more health, some more defense and locked buffs. I think this guy will give out more locked buffs than we might seen before. I'm not saying these will be lasting the entirety of the match, but maybe like whatever happens, then you get the buffs. So like for like the GK that we have right now, if you get crit, well guess what? You get critical hit immunity and he taunts, right? So something to that extent, I think that we'll see. I do believe that we'll be getting some very similarity or very very similar kit design from the GK to the new Kenobi. And I think it's going to be just a very, very much heightened sense of a kit from what is this guy even? He's not even like a legendary, is he? The GK. He's just like a
No, he's just
tank.
a,
Yeah, he's
a raid
just a
character.
tank. Yeah, from like a raid. So I think this guy GK that we see right now, I think the Master Kenobi will be that, but even that much better and having insane abilities that unite the team. They have more assisting, and then like we said, more counterattacks. They have to come to him, and then they can hurt the guys and like in the counterattacks and whatever it may be. It's just like a lot of that defensive nature in a team. I think that's really awesome. I don't know if this would be like a super stall heavy team, like a defense heavy team. I would like it to kind of be for a certain extent, but I also want these guys to be able to take out some more GLs and making the battles a lot safer and a lot more clean, right? And Also, going on the point of other Jedi, like who will we be using here? I think that's a great point because this guy will be needed for like needing some more Jedi to go along with him, right? So right now we have a lot of great Jedi, but those guys, if you have Master Luke, they go with the Master Luke, or they go with like a JKR, the Revans. So it's going to be very interesting to say the least. Where the heck and what teams that we're going to be coming up with? There's so many Jedi teams now in the game, and if you throw in this match of Kenobi, I'm just thinking like, what guys will be using? Because I'm already right now stretching myself thin with all these different Jedi, and I just can't think of like what would be good. And I think it's not going to be so much Jedi, but I think it'll be part to do with the Galactic Republic faction and going back there with some more of these guys and getting some more uses out of those because between the Galactic Republic and the Jedi, there's a lot of those dual factions that are both with characters. They have both of those factions, so I think it'd be kind of nice to have uses of both. Maybe some clones are being thrown in with the Kenobi, maybe just some more Jedi in general, but just something that can even out the playing field with making sure that you have good solid teams for GAC when it comes to splitting up the Jedi. And I think that's one of the biggest concerns I have right now with this Master Kenobi, and I would love to see how that's being played out. But yeah, a lot of options here. I think Kenobi will be definitely a great one. Again, I don't know if he's going to be super defensive or if he'll be able to have that offensive nature as well, kind of like the Master Luke. But we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. That's kind of my thoughts right now.
Yeah, I definitely, as you've been talking, I've been thinking a little bit. I think his kit might be useful in terms of which Jedi you decide to bring along with him. Maybe he's Kiadamundi in terms of not he can change stances, but maybe you change your playstyle with Kenobi. So if you
Ooh,
bring in
yes.
a Yoda who is used for Jedi Knight Revan teams, or maybe you throw him in a Padme or you throw him in a Luke or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
Lots of evasion. Maybe he becomes more of a evasion, big damage.
Oh, I like
The
that.
critical chance. Maybe you bring in a GK along with Galactic Legends Kenobi. There's lots of counterattacks. Maybe bring in Ayla. There's more stuns. You bring in Mace Windu. There's exposes and stuff like that. So maybe he kind of
Yeah.
adapts his playstyle to the other characters that happen to be around him. We've talked a little about this locked buff. Maybe even depending on the buffs that you get, maybe it's going to change. Like it will just lock all of the buffs. So if you bring in a Yoda, it will lock Foresight for 1 or 2 turns or whatever it is. Lock critical hit immunity, lock in retribution, lock in
That would be so awesome.
whatever happens to be there. I think that could be a pretty
Yes.
interesting because that will give him that viability to bounce around. As you said, we have lots of Jedi teams in the game already. So whatever Jedi you decide to actually use with him, maybe he'll have viability over a number of different teams, not just 3 or 4 Galactic Republic Jedi that you're forced to use, giving him Galactic Legend levels of viability across your roster.
Yeah. I like that, dude. Yeah, I'm all for that actually. Throwing in anybody you want from the GR faction or the Jedi, and then he kind of um influences the whole team based off of like who you bring in, and that would be really awesome to see actually. That'd be super cool. I'm all for that actually.
I do work for Capital Games, and I know they hate me, but guys, if you're listening, I just gave you an entire kit. Maybe you didn't have the kit pre-made already, but I gave you an entire kit. I've given you 2 videos, Galactic Games, Capital Games, with 2 entirely different kits. Use one of them. They're great ideas. All right, Ian,
There you go.
I hate to cut this video off a little bit early, but I can hear my professor yelling my name, so I kind of gotta
Dude,
get back to class.
we'll cut it right here. Go freaking do your class, man.
All right.
Crazy.
Thanks for watching, guys. As always, I love you. I will link the video to Ian's channel that we did in the description. See you guys later.